Every day, millions of people open incognito mode in their browser, believing it creates a private space where their activity disappears after closing the window. But the system behind this feature is often misunderstood. Because incognito mode does not make a user invisible online, it only changes what is stored on the device itself, while other systems outside the device can still process and record parts of the activity. Incognito mode is a feature built into browsers such as Google Chrome, Safari, and Firefox, and its main purpose is local privacy. When a user opens an incognito window, the browser stops saving browsing history, cookies, and form data on the device. This means that after the session ends, there is no visible record in the browser history and no saved login data or autofill information from that session. However, this protection only applies to the device itself, not the wider internet system. The browser is simply choosing not to store information locally, while the connection to websites still functions normally in the background. When a device connects to the internet, it must pass through multiple systems including networks, servers, and service providers. Incognito mode does not change this process. Websites can still detect information such as IP addresses, device type, screen size, and general location data. This is because the connection itself is still active and visible at the network level. Internet service providers may also still log connection activity depending on regulations and policies, which means that while the browser does not store history locally, the path of the connection still exists outside the device. One of the most common misunderstandings is that incognito mode provides full anonymity, but this is not how the system is designed. Many users believe their searches and visits become completely hidden. However, the reality is that incognito mode only prevents other users on the same device from seeing activity. It does not hide behavior from websites or networks. For example, if a user logs into an account while using incognito mode, that activity is still linked to the session and can still be tracked by the service being used. Over time, this misunderstanding has created a false sense of privacy where users assume more protection than actually exists. Even in incognito mode, not all data disappears completely. Downloads made during the session remain on the device. Bookmarks are still saved if created, and external files are stored normally in the system. Additionally, network-level data such as connection time and data usage may still be recorded outside the browser, showing that incognito mode is limited to one layer of the system, specifically the browser's local storage, and does not control the full flow of information between the device and the internet. Despite these limitations, incognito mode still serves a purpose. It is useful in shared devices where users do not want browsing history stored locally, and it helps prevent autofill data from being saved in short-term sessions. The feature is not designed to provide full security or anonymity, but rather a controlled browsing environment with reduced local traces. Understanding this distinction is important because it explains why incognito mode behaves the way it does. It is a privacy tool for the device, not a shield for the entire internet connection, and that is where the hidden misunderstanding exists.